Old Marley was dead as a doornail. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story I am going to relate. So remember, Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. The registrar of his burial was signed by Ebenezer Scrooge, and Scrooge's name was good on the London Exchange for anything he chose to put his hand to.
Ah, Mr. Scrooge.
Your servant, sir.
Are you off home to keep Christmas?
I am not in the habit of keeping Christmas, sir.
Then why are you leaving so early?
Christmas has the habit of keeping men from doing business.
Come, it's in the nature of things that ants spoil and grasshoppers sing and play, Mr. Scrooge.
An ant is what it is, and a grasshopper is what it is, and Christmas, sir, is a humbug. Good day.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas? What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this Merry Christmas? Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money, a time for finding yourselves a year older but not an hour richer, a time for balancing your books and having every item in them through a round dozen of months presented dead against you? If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle!
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you, much good it has ever done you.
There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. Christmas among the rest. But I am sure I have always thought of Christmas time when it has come round, apart from the veneration due to its sacred name and origin, if anything belonging to it can be apart from that, as a good time, a kind, forgiving, pleasant time, the only time I know of in the long calendar of the year, when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely, and to think of people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and I say, God bless it.
Hear, hear!
Let me hear another sound from you and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your job. You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow?
No, I'll see you, all right. I'll see you in hell.
But why? Why?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Not because you fell in love. Good afternoon.
Uncle, you never came to see me before that happened. Why give it reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a party, but I have made the trial in homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
How is Mrs. Cratchit and all the small assorted Cratchits?
Oh, very good, sir.
All chomping at the bit, waiting for Christmas to begin, eh?
Oh, yes, sir. All very eager.
And the little lame boy, which one is he? Tim?
Tim, sir.
That's right. How is he?
We're in high hopes he's getting better, sir.
Good. A Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Same to you, sir, I'm sure.
Thank you.
And you, 15 shillings a week, and a wife and family talking about a Merry Christmas? I'll retire to Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at the present time. Many thousands are in want of common necessities. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
Oh, they are still. I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, I was afraid, from what you said at first, that something had occurred to stop them in their youthful course. I'm very glad to hear it.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are attempting to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink in means of warmth. What shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. Since you ask me what I wish, gentlemen, that is my answer. I don't make merry myself at Christmas. I help to support the establishments I have mentioned. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there.
Many can't go there, and many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. Besides, excuse me, I don't know that.
But you might know it.
It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. And yet, you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier next morning.
I will. I promise.
After a brief and inexpensive supper at a local tavern, Scrooge travelled the dark streets back to his chambers. As he approached his door to unlock it, the knocker seemed to shift in the shadow, morphing into an all too familiar face.
Marley? No, it can't be. Humbug. It's humbug still. I won't believe it. Marley, it isn't. I'd often heard it said you had no heart, Marley, but I never believed it until now. How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Can you sit down?
I can.
Do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I don't.
What evidence would you have of my reality beyond that of your senses?
I don't know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheat. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are. You see this toothpick?
I do.
You are not looking at it.
But I see it, notwithstanding.
Well, I have but to swallow this and be for the rest of my days persecuted by a legion of goblins, all of my own creation. Humbug, I tell you, humbug! Mercy! Dreadful apparition, why do you trouble me?
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must. But why do the spirits walk the earth, and why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world, and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness.
You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I girded it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Jacob. Oh, Jacob Marley. Tell me more. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. It comes from other regions, Ebenezer Scrooge, and is conveyed by other ministers to other kinds of men. Nor can I tell you what I would. A very little more is all permitted to me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. Mark me. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money changing hole. And weary journeys lie before me.
You must have been very slow about it, Jacob.
Slow?
7 years dead, and traveling all the time.
The whole time.
You travel fast.
On the wings of the wind.
You might have got over a great quantity of ground in 7 years.
Oh, captive, bound, and double-ironed, not to know that ages of incessant labor by immortal creatures for this earth must pass into eternity before the good of which it is susceptible is all developed. Not to know that any Christian spirit working kindly in its little sphere, whatever it may be, will find its mortal life too short for its vast means of usefulness. Not to know that no space of regret can make amends for one's life's opportunities misused. Yet such was I. Oh, such was I.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. At this time of year, I suffer most. Why did I walk through crowds of fellow beings with my eyes turned down, and never raise them to that blessed star which led the wise men to a far abode? Were there no poor homes to which its light would have conducted me? Hear me! My time is nearly gone.
I will. But don't be hard upon me. Don't be flowery, Jacob.
How it is that I appear before you in a shape that you can see, I may not tell. I have sat invisible beside you many and many a day. That is no light part of my penance. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring Ebenezer.
You were always a good friend to me. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope you mentioned, Jacob?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take 'em all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and look that, for your own sake, you remember what has passed between us.
Gone. Just gone. I'm weary. To bed, then. It's all humbug.
Scrooge laid down his head and wearily drifted into a disturbed slumber.
12. It was past 2 when I went to bed. Clock must be wrong. Bicycle must have gotten into the works. 12? Why, it isn't possible. I can't have slept through a whole day and far into another night.
Now, of course, the ghost had warned Mr. Scrooge that a spirit would visit him when the bell tolled 1. So he resolved to lie awake until the hour was past, and considering that he could no more go to sleep than go to heaven, This was perhaps the wisest decision he could make. Naturally, he didn't want to be caught dozing off, so he made sure to set the alarm on his clock to go off precisely at 1.
Bah! Oh, are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
I wonder if you might put a hat on.
What? Would you so soon put out with worldly hands the light I give? Is it not enough that you are one of those whose passions made this cap, and forced me through whole trains of years to wear it low upon my brow?
I didn't mean to offend. What business brings you here?
Your welfare.
Well, I'm much obliged, but I wonder if a good night's sleep wouldn't be more conducive to that end.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
It's the middle of the night. It's below freezing. I'm wearing slippers, a dressing gown, and a nightcap. I'm mortal, and I'm liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Good heaven! I was bred in this place. I was a boy here.
Your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
It's a pimple. I beg you, spirit, lead me where you would.
You recollect the way?
Remember it? I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years. Let us go on. These people are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. The school is not quite deserted. Solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
I know it. Poor boy.
What is the matter?
Nothing. Nothing. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol at my window last night. I should have liked to have given him something. That's all.
Let us see another Christmas.
Fan.
Dear, dear brother, I have come to bring you home, dear brother, to bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Fan?
Yes, home for good and all, home forever and ever. Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home is like heaven.
For you, perhaps, but not for me. He doesn't know me, or even what I look like. Same as I hardly know you, now that you're quite a woman.
He spoke so gently to me one dear night when I was going to bed, that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said, yes, you should, and sent me in a coach to bring you. And you're to be a man, and are never to come back here. But first, we're to be together all the Christmas long, and have the merriest time in the world.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered. But she had a large heart.
So she had.
She died a woman, and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True, your nephew.
Yes, Fred. Good heaven!
Know it?
Know it? I apprenticed here. Why, it's old Fezziwig. Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig alive again.
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, Dick!
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Poor Dick. Dear, dear.
Oh, yo-ho, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up. Before a man can say Jack Robinson. Hilly-ho, clear away, my lads, and let's have lots of room here. Hilly-ho, Dick. Chirrup, Ebenezer.
What a sweet old man is Mr. Fezziwig.
The sweetest. Did you see him dancing with the missus, and the look on his face?
Oh, yes.
He was in heaven, and fully deserved it.
And where the devil did he find that fiddler?
Oh, wasn't he marvelous? Nothing's too good for Fezziwig. I'd say this year's party was finer than the last, if such a thing is possible.
Speculations that a few pounds of your mortal money, 3 or 4 perhaps, has got so much that he deserves such praise?
It isn't that. It isn't that, Spirit. He has the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. Say that his power lies in words and looks, in things so slight and insignificant that it is impossible to add and count them up. What then? The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing particular.
Something, I think.
No. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk just now. That's all.
My time grows short.
Good heaven! Belle.
It matters little to you, very little. Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has replaced you?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealing of the world, and there is nothing it professes to condemn with such severity as the pursuit of wealth.
You fear the world too much. All your other hopes have merged into the hope of being beyond the chance of its sordid reproach. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off one by one, until the master passion gain engrosses you, have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you, am I?
Our engagement is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so, until in good season we can improve our worldly fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When it was made, you were another man.
I was a boy. 'Tis true, I am not now what I was then.
I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now that we are two. How often and how keenly I have thought of this I will not say. It is enough that I have thought of it and can release you from our engagement.
Have I ever sought release?
In words? No, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in another atmosphere of life, another hope as its great end, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? Ah, no.
You think not?
I would gladly think otherwise if I could, heaven knows. When I have learned a truth like this, I know how strong and irresistible it must be. But if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, can even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? You who, in your very confidence with her, weigh everything by gain. Or choosing her, if for a moment you were false enough to your one guiding principle to do so, do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you from our engagement. With a full heart for the love of him you once were, you may, the memory of what is past half makes me hope you will, have pain in this, a very, very brief time, and you will dismiss the recollection of it gladly as an unprofitable dream, from which it happened well that you awoke. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more.
No more. No more. I don't wish to see it. Show me no more, spirit. Remove me from this place.
I told you that these were shadows of things that have been. As they are what they are, do not blame me.
Remove me. I cannot bear it. Leave me. Take me back. Haunt me no longer.
Marley's ghost had warned Scrooge that a second spirit would haunt him at the stroke of one. I don't mind telling you that Scrooge was now prepared for a good broad field of strange appearances, and that nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. By this time he was ready for almost anything. But, you see, he was not by any means ready for nothing.
Scrooge? Come in, Scrooge. Come in. Come in and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the like of me before?
Never.
Have never walked forth with my elder brothers born in these later years?
I don't think I have. I'm afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
Approximately 1842.
A tremendous family to provide for. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Why, it's my clerk, Bob Cratchit's home. That must be his wife.
What has ever got your precious father then? And your brother, Tiny Tim? And Martha wasn't as late this last Christmas Day by half an hour.
Martha, Mother. Hurrah! Here's Martha, Mother.
Why, bless your heart alive, my dear, how late you are.
Oh, we'd a deal of work to finish up last night and had to clear away this morning, Mother.
Well, never mind so long as you are come. Sit ye down before the fire, my dear, and have a warm, Lord bless ye. And how did little Tim behave in church?
As good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest thing you ever heard. He told me, coming home, that he hoped the people in church saw him because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see. Oh, he's growing stronger and heartier every day, isn't he?
Yes, dear, he is.
The goose is cooked. The goose is cooked.
Not much of a goose.
Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Oh, I don't believe there ever was such a goose cooked so tender.
And delicious. And big.
And cheap.
It's lovely, Mother. This is a goose we shall remember for as long as we live.
Thank you, Tim. I can't stand to look at the pudding. Suppose it should not be done enough? Suppose it should break in turning out?
Suppose somebody should have got over the wall of the backyard and stolen it while we were eating the goose. Oh, a wonderful pudding. A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, no. Oh, no, kind Spirit. Say he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none other of my race will find him here. What then? If he be like to die, he had better do it, and decrease the surplus population. Man, if man you be in heart, not adamant, forbear that wicked cant until you have discovered what the surplus is, and where it is. Will you decide what men shall live and what men shall die? It may be that in the sight of heaven you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child. O God, to hear the insect on the leaf pronouncing on the too much life among his hungry brothers in the dust.
To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I'd hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children. Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you do, poor fellow.
My dear, have some charity. It's Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Fred?
He said that Christmas was a humbug, as I live. He believed it, too.
More shame for him, Fred.
I should very much like to meet your Uncle Fred. The droll way in which you portray him makes me curious.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth, and not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He don't do any good with it. He don't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he is ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Nor I.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself, always. Here he takes into his head and to dislike us, and he won't come to dine with us.
Indeed, I think he loses a very good dinner. Really, Fred, I think you're being awfully charitable.
If that's so, it may be because my mother, God rest her saintly soul, very fond of him. She loved him.
Oh, but do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he begins to say. He is such a ridiculous fellow.
I was only going to say that the consequence of his taking a dislike to us and not making merry with us is, as I think, that he loses some pleasant moments, which could do him no harm. I am sure he loses pleasanter companions than he can find in his own thoughts, either in his moldy old office or his dusty chambers. I mean, to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him. If he finds me going there in good temper year after year and saying, "Uncle Scrooge, how are you?" If it only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50, that's something. And I think I shook him yesterday.
I think we should at least stay until the guests have departed.
I'm afraid that cannot be done.
Now then, it's a game called Yes and No. Since you're the host, you'll go first.
Here's a new game. Oh, 1/2 hour, Spirit. Only one.
Oh dear, what do I have to do?
You think of something, anything, and the rest of us must find out what it is. But you may only answer our questions with yes or no, as the case may be.
All right. Oh, I've got it.
You've thought of something?
Yes. Fire away.
Are you thinking of an animal?
Yes.
Does it live in a menagerie?
No, wouldn't go near it.
Is it an ass?
No.
Is it living?
Yes.
Can it be found in London?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Is it a horse?
No.
Does it walk the streets?
Yes.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Oh, I found it out. I know what it is, Fred. I know what it is.
Well, what is it?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
Yes.
That's not fair. When I asked, is it an ass, you should have answered yes.
He has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. I say, Uncle Scrooge, to the old man, wherever he is, whatever he is. He wouldn't take it from me, but may he have it nevertheless. Uncle Scrooge.
Your hair is gray. Our spirits' lives so short.
My life is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight, at midnight.
Midnight, the last of the spirits. Am I in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come? You are about to show me shadows of the things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit? Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spectre I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, I am prepared to bear you company, and I do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on, lead on. The night is waning fast, and it is precious to me, precious time to me, I know. Lead on, Spirit. Yes, I know these gentlemen. Business associates.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know that he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God knows.
What has he done with his money?
I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps. He hasn't left it to me, that's all I know. Oh, it's likely to be a very cheap funeral, for, upon my life, I don't know of anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
No, I don't mind going if a lunch is provided, but I must be fed if I make one.
Well, I am the most disinterested among you, after all, for I never wear black gloves and I never eat lunch. But I'll offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think of it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak whenever we met. Bye-bye.
I knew these men perfectly. Men of business, very wealthy and of great importance. I've made a point always of standing well in their esteem. In a business point of view, that is, strictly business.
Why, you?
How are you?
Oh, well, old Scratch got his own at last, eh?
So I am told. Cold, isn't it?
Seasonable for Christmas time. You're not a skater, I suppose.
No, something else to think of. Good morning.
I'm rather surprised that you should attach importance to conversations apparently so trivial. They must have some hidden purpose, or else you wouldn't be showing them to me. Is that right? They could scarcely have any bearing on the death of Jacob, my old partner, for his death was in the past, and this is the future.
Let the charwoman alone to be the first, let the laundress alone to be the second, and let the undertaker's man alone to be the third. Look here, old Joe, here's a chance. If we haven't all three met here without meaning it.
You couldn't have met in a better place. Come into the parlour. You were made free of it long ago, you know, and the other two ain't strangers. Stop till I shut the door of the shop. Ah! There ain't such a rusty bit of metal in the place as its own hinges, I believe. And I'm sure there's no such old bones here as mine. We're all suitable to our calling. We're well matched. Come into the parlour. Come into the parlour.
What odds then? What odds, Mrs. Gilbert? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true indeed. No man more so.
Why then, don't stand staring as if you was afraid, woman. Who's the wiser? We're not going to pick holes in each other's coats, I suppose.
No, indeed.
Very well, then. That's enough. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed.
If he wanted to keep 'em after he was dead, a wicked old screw, why wasn't he natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck with death, instead of lying gasping out his last there, alone by himself.
It's the truest word that ever was spoke. It's a judgment on him.
I wish it was a little heavier judgment, and it should have been, you may depend upon it, if I could have laid my hands on anything else. Gah. Open that bundle, old Joe, and let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. We know pretty well that we were helping ourselves before we met here. I believe it's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
That's your account. And I wouldn't give another sixpence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Who's next?
This is disgusting. I can't look at this. Haven't you anything better to show me?
I always give too much to ladies. It's a weakness of mine, and that's the way I ruin myself. That's your account. If you asked me for another penny and made it an open question, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown.
And now undo my bundle, Joe.
What do you call this? Bed curtains?
Bed curtains.
Do you mean to say you took 'em down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Yes, I do. And why not?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
I certainly shan't hold my hand when I can get anything in it by reaching it out, for the sake of such a man as he was, I promise you. Joe, don't drop that oil upon the blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else do you think? He isn't likely to take cold without 'em, I dare say.
I hope he didn't die of anything catching, eh?
Don't you be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things if he did. Ah, you may look through that shirt, but you won't find a hole in it, nor a threadbare place. Best he had, and a fine one too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
What do you call wasting of it?
Putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it isn't good enough for anything. It's quite as becoming to the body. He can't look uglier than he did in that one. This is the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, I see. This case of this unhappy man might be my own. My life tends that way now. That is the lesson I am to draw from this poor man's fate, is it not? Merciful heaven, what is this?
Oh, cold, cold, rigid, dreadful death! Set up thine altar here, and dress it with such terrors as thou hast at thy command, for this is thy dominion. But a beloved, revered, and honored head, thou canst not turn one hair to thy dread purposes, or make one feature odious. It is not that the hand is heavy and will fall down when released. It is not that the heart and pulse are still, but that the hand was open, generous, and true. The heart brave, warm, and tender, and the pulse a man's. Strike, shadow, strike, and see his good deeds springing from the wound, to sow the world with life immortal.
Spirit, this is a fearful place. I shall not leave its lesson, trust me. Let us go. I understand you and I would look at this dead man's face, if I could. But I have not the power, Spirit. I have not the power.
He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways, because he hath set his love upon me. Therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Shall I stop reading?
Oh, no. It's only the color. It hurts my eyes. They're better now again. It makes them weak by candlelight, and I wouldn't show weak eyes to your father when he comes home for the world. It must be near his time.
Past it, rather. But I think he has walked a little slower than he used to at these last few evenings, Mother.
I have known him walk with Tiny Tim upon his shoulder, very fast indeed.
And so have I, often.
But he was very little to carry, and his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble. And there's your father at the door.
I ran into Mr. Scrooge's nephew in the street today. He thought I looked just a little down, you know, and he inquired as to what had happened to distress me. On which, for he is the pleasantest spoken gentleman you ever heard, I told him. "I am heartily sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit," he said, "and heartily sorry for your good wife." By the by, how he ever knew that, I don't know.
Knew what?
Why, that you were a good wife.
Everybody knows that.
I hope they do. "Heartily sorry," he said, "for your good wife. If I can be of service to you in any way, be sure to let me know." And he handed me his card. Now, it wasn't for the sake of anything he might be able to do for us, so much as for his kind way, that this was quite delightful. It really seemed as if he had known our Tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he was a good soul.
You would be surer of it if you saw and spoke to him. I shouldn't be at all surprised if he got Peter a better situation.
Hear that, Peter?
And then Peter will be keeping company with someone and setting up for himself.
Get along with you.
It's just as likely as not. One of these days, though there's plenty of time for that. But, however and whenever we part from one another, I am sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim. Shall we? Or this first parting that there was among us?
No, never, Father.
Of course not, Father.
And I know that when we recollect how patient and how mild he was, although he was a little child, we shall not quarrel easily among ourselves and forget poor Tiny Tim in doing it.
Oh, never, Father. Of course not.
Oh, I am very happy. I am very happy. Oh, my little child. Oh, my little child.
Oh my God. Tell me what man that was whom we saw lying dead. Wait. That is where my place of occupation is, and has been for a length of time. Let me behold what I shall be. My office is yonder. Why do you point away? Just wait a moment, please. Oh, the graveyard. Before I draw nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of the things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead. But if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me. Am I that man who lay upon that bed? Oh, spirit! No, spirit! Hear me! I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been, but for this intervention. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Good spirit, your nature intercedes for me and pities me. Assure me that I may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Don't tell me, may I sponge away the writing on this stone? I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees, old Jacob, on my knees. They are not torn down. They are not torn down, rings and all. They are here. I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. I don't know what to do. I am as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. Hallo here. Whoop, hallo. There's the saucepan that the gruel was in. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. There's the corner where the ghost of Christmas present sat. There's the window where I saw the wandering spirits. It's all right. It's all true. It all happened. I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby. Never mind. I don't care. I'd rather be a baby. Hello! Hello here! Clash, clang, hammer, ding dong, bell, bell, dong, ding, hammer, clang, clash. Oh, glorious! Glorious! Oh, glorious! You boy, what day is today?
Today?
What day is it, my fine fellow?
Why, Christmas Day.
It's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow.
Hello.
Do you know the poulterers? In the next street, but one, at the corner.
I should hope I did.
An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, the big one.
What, the one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
It is? Go and buy it.
Sod off.
No, I'm in earnest. Go and buy it, and tell him to bring it here, that I may give him the directions where to take it. Come back with the man, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes,
and I'll give you half a crown. I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Oh, Joe Miller never made such a joke as sending it to Bob's will be. Oh, I shall love it as long as I live. I scarcely ever looked at it before. What an honest expression it has on its face. It's a wonderful knocker. My dear sir, how do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon. Then will you have the goodness...
Oh, Lord bless me! My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Oh, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence.
Oh, don't say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will.
Thank you. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Is your master at home, my dear?
Yes, sir.
Where is he, my love?
He's in the sitting room, sir, along with mistress. I'll show you in if you please.
Oh, thank you. He knows me. I'll just go in, my dear.
He said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, he believed it too.
Fred!
Bless my soul, who's that?
It's I, Uncle Scrooge. I've come as you asked. Will you let me in, Fred? Cratchit, you're late. What do you mean by coming here at this time of day?
I am very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are? Yes, I think you are. Step this way, if you please.
It's only once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
Now I'll tell you what, my friend. I'm not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore... and therefore, I am about to raise your salary. A Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I am going to raise your salary, and if you'll let me, I'd like to try to help your family. Well, let's discuss it this afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop, Bob. Make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit. And this evening, you and your family will dine with me.
As so, that evening, true to his word, Scrooge went to the Cratchit's house and shared a meal with them.
My dear boy, how do you feel this fine winter's night?
Sir, I feel quite well.
Oh, please, lad, call me uncle.
Okay, Uncle Scrooge.
Bless you, child.
May God bless us, everyone.